Well, welcome back to Game on Hay. We're discussing today's game between England and Sri Lanka, and we've been adopting those tactics again from the soap operas of leaving you with a little bit of a cliffhanger. There I was talking about Lahiru Kumara, and we saw nothing. But now is the chance, now is the time to look at this sterling performance of Lahiru Kumara's against the Netherlands.
3 wickets just for 7 runs. And Jules Wilson, the umpire, getting it right this time.
What's your point, son? What are you saying about Joel? Is there
I think that was it.
Okay, you've got a decision right. Fantastic. But this is, the point of all this is that we are obviously looking at the various strengths of Sri Lanka today as they take on England. We've had comments that maybe spin is the better option because they have better spinners. And obviously you need 5 bowlers to perform. Now, Kumara against Netherlands, fine, ended up with good figures, 3 for virtually nothing. And he used it...
Especially this ball was missing on that day.
Was that Joel as well? Yeah, apparently same umpire. Okay. So yeah, but you've got this decision to make, as it were. Is that the real Kumara? Are those the real figures? Or, if you then look at the figures against South Africa and those last couple of overs where that imperative need to be spot on with the Yorker was exposed, because if you bowl Yorkers at ordinary players, it's easy, or relatively easy. But if you suddenly have a David Miller at the other end and he's got this big stick...
Especially when you have no pressure. Associate team, he's quick, no pressure, no threat from the other end. So everything goes your way. When it's come to the pressure, then you started making mistakes.
Because you're absolutely right, this is the thing. Those last couple of overs against South Africa, the game is there to be won or lost. And with 12 balls left, Sri Lanka had a fantastic chance of winning that game. And whatever it was, 12 balls later, they'd lost it.
I think if you see his length against Netherlands, so he bowled within the stumps.
Yep.
We saw with the new ball against South Africa, he bowled wayward. He's given room. He got hit by both sides of the wicket. And in the end, he wasn't bowling those Yorker, which we saw against Netherlands. So if they want to success, they need to bowl straight, wicket to wicket, even against England.
Well, I think it makes sense on this pitch, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Especially new ball, while people are settling in. But it's those fine details, it's those little percentages.
As you heard Javed mention earlier, you've got to have a good mindset in order for you to do that. When there's no pressure, anyone can accomplish anything. But when he was needed, Miller, who I felt at the time did look out of nick, he had some slight injury as well, and he got Miller back into nick in terms of the deliveries that he bowled, and he went for some big ones. And that to me suggests that his mind just wasn't right for that particular occasion. Did not get it right.
Well, it is. I mean, it is this kind of the definition of pressure, isn't it? It's what makes you do things that you don't want to do because you get tight in the hand, tight in the wrist, tight in the shoulder, tight in the head.
The release points can differ, and your follow-through can be affected with all this.
Yeah. It's really important. One thing, like as a bowler, when you're under pressure, you just need to, when on your mark, you just need to have a breather, okay? And then let it go. Where I want to bowl Yorker. Then you back yourself, back your ability, and back your skills. If you can't back, if you not sure, if I'm going to bowl here, it's going to hit me there. So you're going to get hit. If you guys, okay, I'm having a challenge here, okay. Yes, you can hit me a 6, but I'll get you out. I'm going to bowl in my spot. And then if he can hit you over the top, then you can't do anything, Fair enough, if you have a 3-man back there. If you clear that man, then good shot. Well done, can't do anything. But back yourself and back your ability.
But, I mean, Umar was one of the best. I mean, I know, obviously, Aaqib, as you all have your skills, excellent skills. But
he was special.
This man was one of the best at the end. So what is the secret? So those last couple of overs, ball in hand, 20 runs to play with. Where does it count? Here?
Of course.
Passport, I don't have the red passport.
Okay, you can use the green passport.
Yeah, I will. I think वो जो हम बार-बार बात कर रहे हैं ना कि प्रेशर के टाइम पे जो ना वही प्लेयर कामयाब होता है जो अपने नर्व्स को कंट्रोल करता है, प्रेशर को किस तरह हैंडल करता है, जिस तरह अज़हर भाई ने कहा कि बेस्ट ये कि आप मार्क पे जाए और आप
गहरा सांस
डीप ब्रीथ और अपने आप को बैक करे। ऑब्वियसली उस टाइम पे जो हम बात कर रहे हैं अभी कुमारा की बात करें लास्ट मैच की कि उसने जिस तरह की बॉलिंग की है, आई एम श्योर उनके पास प्लान भी था अगेंस्ट हर प्लेयर, लेकिन स्टिल वही बात आती है कि उस टाइम पे वो प्रेशर को हैंडल नहीं कर सका, जिसकी वजह से उसके जो अपने जो प्लान था वो सही तरह से एग्जीक्यूट नहीं हो सका। तो मेरे ख्याल से यही है कि जो अच्छी तरह से प्रेशर हैंडल करता है तो उसकी एग्जीक्यूशन भी अच्छी होगी, उसका प्लान भी सही होगा और वही कामयाब होगा। तो हमेशा से वही जो अगर मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, जो जिस तरह यॉर्कर करता, अजहर भाई ने जो बात की कि यू हैव टू बी 110% कॉन्फिडेंस कि मैं जा रहा हूँ, ये यॉर्कर है और यॉर्कर ही होगा। अब अगर मुझे बैट्समैन हिट कर सकता है तो हिट कर ले, और जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है कि आप अपने फील्डर को किस तरह यूज़ कर रहे हो। अगर आपने यॉर्कर करना है तो इट्स मीन्स कि अगर आपको फिर शॉट लगे तो आपको मिड ऑन मिड ऑफ के ऊपर शॉट लगे तो वो अच्छा शॉट होगा, ना कि जिस तरह कुमारन ने प्लान, अब श्योर उसका कोई प्लान होगा, लेकिन वो जो शॉट लगाए वो बिल्कुल मिड ऑन और मिड विकेट के बीच में लगा, जहाँ पे फील्डर के पास भी कोई चांस नहीं था अगर नीचे भी ज़्यादा कैच पकड़ने का। तो ऑब्वियसली आपके प्लान एग्जीक्यूशन और आपकी फील्ड पोजीशन का होना बड़ा ज़रूरी है।
So apart from deep breathing and your practice, it's very important to have your fielders in the right position also when you want to bowl, nail that Yorker at the end. That's what Umar wanted to say.
And back yourself, mind
Back
thing you said
yourself,
as
yeah.
well.
That's the most important.
Yeah.
If you have the right mindset, you cannot afford to worry about the batter, whether he's moving left or he's moving right. You got to concentrate on the things that you do best. And if you can accomplish that, you're going to have success every time. When you lose that, then you go for big ones.
Another thing that I also experienced, what Azhar mentioned, that whenever we are stressed as players, the breathing becomes very shallow. And that's something that we definitely need to keep our minds at, that whenever the breathing becomes shallow, that's when we are not thinking right, and that's when mostly the doubts are there. So deep breathing and just clearing those doubts, that definitely really help, whether you are bowling in the power play or at death.
Yes.
Are you under pressure?
No, I'm fine. Thank you. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it.
तो
Seriously
ये
enjoying it.
बताएं कि इंडियन टीम को कितनी ब्रीदिंग की जरूरत है।
I think Indian team needs oxygen. Okay.
How
Cylinders of,
how much?
Lots of it.
they need 50, at least 15 cylinder behind
Listen,
them.
no, most of the oxygen tanks are taken. This is COVID.
बात पता क्या है, देखिए एक प्लेयर जो है वो एक वीक से दूसरे इन लास्ट वीक और लास्ट मंथ यू आर देयर इन योर स्किल्स एवरीथिंग योर एग्जीक्यूशन सारी ठीक हो रही है।
कहाँ पे?
जो भी आप कर रहे हो, जैसे अभी इंडियन टीम है तो अभी आईपीएल में टॉप परफॉर्म कर रहे होंगे, तो आज जो है वो डर रहे हैं कि हम अफगानिस्तान से भी खेलें या ना खेलें। तो ये सारा ये आता है कि आप अपने जो आपकी गेम है, जो आपकी स्ट्रेंथ है, उसके ऊपर आपको डाउट आ जाता है। और डाउट को क्लियर करने
डाउट क्यों आया?
डाउट इसलिए आ जाता है कि एक डर से, खौफ से, हारने के डर से, लोगों के जो सोशल मीडिया की बैशिंग से।
ये चीज धोनी को नहीं आई कभी भी,
तो इसीलिए तो वो उसकी नर्व्स वो उधर सोचता नहीं था।
सोचता नहीं था ना। देखिए 19 का वर्ल्ड कप रॉन्ग सिलेक्शन, 11 वर्ल्ड कप रॉन्ग सिलेक्शन, 3 बैट्समैन थे, इन्होंने ना मनीष पांड्या को लिया और ना उसको एयर सैयर को लिया। ये जो प्लेयर थे मिडिल ऑर्डर में नंबर 4 नंबर 5, आप 2 विकेट कीपर्स और सारे ऑलराउंडर खेल रहे हैं, तो उसमें शायद कब तक आप 3 पे
कोहली ने खुद भी कहा है ना कि
कोहली बेंगलोर से नंबर 1 बैटिंग कर रहा है, यहाँ नंबर 4 पे आ गया, ठीक है। विराट और रोहित शर्मा नंबर 3 पे आ गया, तो पैनिक तो दबा दिया ना,
तो डर गए ना।
पर वो प्लेयर टीम के साथ ट्रेवल कर रहे थे ऑलमोस्ट 1.5-2 साल से वो ट्रेवल कर रहे थे, जिनके
मनीष पांड्या और वो आयर जो है ना।
और कुमारा के साथ भी वही हुआ अगेंस्ट नेदरलैंड। ही वाज
सवाल क्या था? सवाल पूछ आते उमर गुल से जो पूछा था,
प्रेशर की बात हो रही है।
बॉलर का जो बताया था, थोड़ा बहुत जो देखा है इनको सामने से विकेट कीपिंग करते हुए, बहुत सारे बॉलर हैं जिनकी स्विंग नहीं होती। डिपेंड करता है आपके पास स्किल्स क्या हैं। जैसे मैंने आकिब को भी की है, उमर गुल को भी की है, वसीम भाई को भी की है, वकार को भी की है, शोएब को भी की है।
मैं चला जाऊं?
अजू 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 रज़ाक, ये अपना है ना। तो
अक्सर भूल जाते हैं आप।
अक्सर भूल जाता हूँ। स्विंग के ऊपर है कि आप वाइड ऑफ द क्रीज जा रहे हो। शोएब अख्तर थोड़ा वाइड ऑफ द क्रीज करता था बॉल, विकी क्लोज ऑफ द
वो
स्टंप
सेट
करता
पे भी
था।
वाइड बैठे हुए थे।
नहीं ये दोनों, ये सीमर यानी बॉल तो क्या है,
खैर भाई का
आपके जितना भी तेज बॉलर हो लेकिन उसकी स्विंग अगर है थोड़ी बहुत वो इफेक्टिव होगा। अगर ये कुमारा की बात हो रही है, ये स्टॉक बॉलर लगता है, ये स्विंग नहीं है। इनके पास लास्ट जो जनरेशन का जो बॉलर था वो चमिंदा वास था।
चमिंदा
उसके बाद इनके बाद ना वाइट बॉल का फास्ट बॉलर आया ना रेड बॉल का आया। स्विंग उसके पास ही दोनों आगे पिच करता था, लेकिन इनके पास जितने भी चमेरा हैं जितने भी हैं इनकी लेंथ प्रॉपर नहीं है, जिसकी वजह से इनको
तो
प्रॉब्लम
आपको क्या लगता है इनकी लाइन और लेंथ क्या होनी चाहिए इंग्लैंड बैटर्स के अगेंस्ट?
आगे होनी चाहिए। मारते हैं इंग्लैंड वाले ना, देखिए अब क्या जो प्रैक्टिस की है बटलर ने या ये शॉर्ट ऑफ लेंथ को अच्छी खेलते हैं, लेग क्लियर करके इनको आगे लेके आए तो इनको मुश्किल होगी।
Okay.
Shall we have a look at another Sri Lankan bowler, do you think?
Of course, definitely. Let's
It's
let
a
this
fantastic
blend big
name.
in the
Wanindu
spinners.
Hasaranga de Silva. It's a long name. And he's got some decent bowling figures in this tournament. Again, okay, we're using the example of Sri Lanka against the Netherlands, but one of his strengths is wicket to wicket. Just a little bit of a roll of the wrist, isn't it? It's not a big spinner as such.
No.
But he's had a good tournament.
He had a good tournament. He got, I think, got hat-trick against South Africa in the last game as well. So, so he's a threat for England as well. So his ability to bowl wicket to wicket, and the wrong one the other day, Gully was mentioning about his wrong one. You know, it's not like the normal leg spin wrong one. So he used his finger to bowl wrong one. It's not like you can see back of the palm. As a batsman, so it's very difficult to pick him. And the other thing is he's quicker through the air and he's paced really, really well.
And the ball dips. You've seen that a lot of batters go back at him because they are expecting it to come a little bit more fuller.
Yeah.
So it dips right at the end, which makes him even more dangerous.
Well, I mean, you expert spinners, you know, the more loop and dip you get, the more revolutions you get. Although he's not a big reps man, is he? But it's the ability to get the ball to drop and confuse the batsman with length, isn't
David,
it? Vivi.
who would ever expect to see spinners playing such a huge part in the modern day game? They're the ones who have been the success. Because when you look at limited overs in the past, especially in our time, it was always the seam up that you think would get you out of trouble. But these little guys have
It's the
no,
it
it's
does it.
tricks. A lot of
Yeah,
tricks.
lots of new tricks.
Yeah, a lot of new tricks.
Yeah. Makes it suitably tricky.
You know, I played a lot of T20 cricket around the world, you know, like as a bowler, when we were talking about as a bowler, you know, mindset. You know, you have to understand, in this format, you will go for runs, okay? As a bowler, you need to understand, okay, if I bowl a good ball and batsmen play a pedal shot or, you know, some special shot, you know, like if you miss a length by 6 inches now you're going to go for a 6. So you need to realize that, okay, this was my good ball and he played a good shot. Well done to him. And then back yourself. If you bowl a bad ball and someone hits you, and then the self-doubt, we're talking about the self-doubt, and that's what happens. So as a bowler, whenever I work with the guys, and I always said, okay, you need to be master of learning this art. So this was a good ball. He played a good shot. So ball was right, but he played excellent shot. So I have to go back to my Yorkers, you know, and back myself to nail that Yorker or execute that plan which been given or which I have in my mind. So that's very important.
Follow-on question to that is, how important is it to have a captain that understands exactly that? Because if your captain goes, every time we get hit for 6, then that doesn't help your psychology. But if your captain understands that and has in his mind the plan that at some stage, by definition, bowlers will be hit at some stage. So you need that sort of collaboration and understanding, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. If you see, like I work with our captain, your captain, Quetta Gladiator Sarfraz, you know, every time someone got hit and he, from the back, you know, he just do that, and the coach is sitting outside and doing the same thing, you know. It's not sending the right message to the person who's under pressure at that time. But if you compare Sarfraz to Morgan, you never see a Williamson, you never see anything like that from the captain. And they understand, you know, this format, even Virat Kohli, never seen him doing hand gesture and all these things. So you need to understand, okay, this format, people will go for runs, and you have to understand, you know, sometimes you, as a human, you meant to bowl a bad ball, and sometimes the batsman is playing a better shot against your delivery. So it's very important you have a cool, calm captain and coach in your environment that will help to player to go on another level.
Where does Baba rate as cool, calm?
I think that's where, again, that debate comes in, that captains should be given a free hand.
Yep.
And when they are not given a free hand, then selectors, if they don't understand this message, then the pressure builds up onto the players as well, because then the captain is in no position to take those decisions. But now, why we have seen Babar Azam quite different as a different captain, and this team also, because they trust each other, because they know that Babar has the authority to play them or not play them, and they have a plan. So Hassan Ali has not been bowling at his best, but he's still getting the game. So I think if we have these things right, that the captain is this authority and you give them the control, the selectors understand that. If the captain gives them an excuse, or explains them that why we were planning something and the batter played it really well. So I think it's the key. I totally agree.
It's called communication, and it's also called being on the same side. Yeah. Captain is on the same side of the players on the same side. As long as they're all understanding each other, you have good team spirit, you have good team performances. Now, we would like you guys at home to be involved as best you can. We love you watching us here as we both preview the games and tell you what's happened after the games. But we've also got the opportunity for you to have your say. So we've got a question for you. We've got 2 or 3 questions for you. First of all, this is slightly condescending towards Sri Lanka. It says, can they put up a brave fight against undefeated Team England, rather than saying, can they beat undefeated so far Team England? What's your thought on that? Just vote for either England or Sri Lanka by replying to that particular tweet.
And the second question, which bowler? We are going to see the second question quickly there. यहाँ पे भी आप लोग वोट कर सकते हैं कि कौन सा ऐसा बॉलर है जो आज के मैच में सबसे ज़्यादा विकेट्स लेगा. इसमें आपके पास 2 ऑप्शंस हैं श्रीलंका की बॉलिंग से और 2 ऑप्शंस हैं इंग्लैंड की बॉलिंग से. तो ज़रूर इस पे वोट करें, और मैच पे जाने से पहले भी ये वोटिंग जारी रहेगी और हम आपसे रिजल्ट्स भी शेयर करेंगे.
Okay, and the next one up. Which player will be top scorer in today's exciting matchup between Team England and Team Sri Lanka? And you've got 4 options. Jos Buttler, who's in spectacular form. David Malan, who's been consistent over the last couple of years. Pathum Nissanka, top scorer the other day. And Kusal Pereira, always a dangerous player. I'm just going to get my phone out and start voting now. Well, that gives you all a chance to say. It gives you a chance to be involved and to interact with us. Last night we showed you the results of those tweets, and we had, I think, we discovered that the watching public was actually very well informed.
Yes, Pakistan, all the people in Pakistan, they are taking even more interest in this World Cup, because Pakistan is doing really well and they are putting their minds to it. So really good guesses from them last night. और अब हम मेरे ख्याल से पिच की तरफ भी जाते हैं. पिच रिपोर्ट भी तैयार है हमारे पास.
We're here in Sharjah for another big clash in the men's T20 World Cup. Okay, now the pitch. What have we got in store here today in Sharjah? Well, for me, playing a fair bit of cricket here, it looks like a pretty standard Sharjah cricket wicket. As we come down here, it is very nicely sealed. There's a nice sheen on the wicket, which means it'll be a little bit skiddy, which both the batsmen and the bowlers will have to combat nicely. The dimensions here, well, there is a shorter side. We've got 61 metre square boundary, we've got 68 metres over to the offside, and a 73 metre hit right down the ground, so a decent hit down the ground. We've got Niall here to be able to give you a few more insights into this wicket.
Thanks, Otto. I agree 100%. It looks an absolute belter here. It looks like a Sharjah pitch of old. It looks like a big, hard slab of concrete. Batters here have had some good success. The groundsman tells me he gave it a little sprinkling of water last night. 3 top totals in innings in this tournament. The Super 12s have been happening on this ground here in Sharjah, and it has the highest runs per over rate in the Super 12 venues. But it's not all a loss for the bowlers. They've got something to work with. It actually has a slightly slower nature, this pitch, and a little bit less bounce than Dubai and Abu Dhabi. You just see here balls back of the length, hard length, probably 2 balls difference than Dubai and obviously Abu Dhabi. So there is a little bit for the bowlers to work with. If they slam the ball in on that 8 metre mark, a couple of examples the bowlers have had success. Good length balls, toe of the bat. using their fingers, roll the fingers across the ball, cut it back of a length. And on that third one, the ball hardly getting up stump high. So there is a little bit for the bowlers to work with, but I think the ground staff have done a wonderful job here. The pitch looks an absolute